just as I said that. There we go. So you could probably share your screen again.
Sure, mate.
That
No
would be
problems.
good.
You want me to do this next bit, Steve?
I think at this stage, let's go with Justin, just because we'll go personal connections into Facebook ads. Yeah. So
Cool.
because of the way we're getting around the screen so well, I think probably the only thing might do is flick across to you, just to make sure you've got access to everything at the end and it's all working how you want it.
I've had a look through. I do.
Looks like good. Okay, awesome. The only thing I often forget to remind people is just make sure they sign out of Hootsuite, because we can otherwise get that verification. Just so you know, when we use the free Hootsuite, Justin, because it's probably not intended that you have multiple users going in and out. And realistically, there's probably only going to be you and Hayley, generally speaking.
Yep.
But if Hayley was to not log out, or you went to log out, then when you go in, you'll often get, particularly you, because it's been set up under your email, we might just need a verification. So every now and again, Hayley might flick you a LinkedIn or an email and just say, hey, I just need you to send me the verification code for Hootsuite. So it just happens,
no
particularly early days it happens,
Yep.
because it's not used to us signing into certain accounts.
Sure.
Yep. Sweet. Awesome. Well, actually, you could refresh this screen that you're on here now, and then we could actually go to one of the. We may as well go to Facebook and see how it posted through, and check that it did post through. So, and you might just
stay on Hootsuite or just move
go to
Facebook?
Go to Facebook, which is 2 across. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And just maybe refresh this page so that you'll be able to see, hopefully, the post that's gone through. No, actually, not this page, but just.
You might just have to go when it loads up again, but where that like hash link, that tag is above the Allerton Private Wealth at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you just click on that, it'll take you back to your home screen.
Cool.
And there we are.
There we are.
And what we might do in here is just edit that post to get rid of the @ symbol in front of the 2 business names. So if you click on the 3 dots above the post, and
edit.
You could just go edit, just space it out.
Space out the words, yeah.
It is slightly concerning that Dify Social didn't come up as the ad. Just try out of interest. Try putting put the ad in front of it now, and then just run the cursor along.
One word again.
Yeah, you could. You should go backwards and then do the space. So bring the S and then hit forward. Yeah, then just do a space after Dify.
Oh, yeah.
And then social.
Type in social.
Oh, see, there you go.
There it's coming. Yep. Yeah. There you go. That's the top one.
And then click on that.
Yeah.
Nice.
There we go. And then we can just save that down below. Cool. I look a lot better, very small on my screen. So I'm happy with that. So I'm hoping it'll be the same. So this is interesting. This is probably good timing, just because we're on this one. See how it's got invite your friends. So you could click invite on Hayley and Steve.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen, yeah. And again, depending on what friends you've got on this, we don't want to have to pay Facebook to get following, right? So if you've got people that like Justin and just want Justin to do well in life and want to support whatever endeavors you're doing, then invite them to like your page, right? So see how it's got see all friends. Basically, you could, based on what you've told us, you might want to be a bit pick and choose.
Yeah.
But even if there's 30 or 40 that you can invite to the page, that would be awesome, right? Family members, mates from wherever,
Yeah, sure.
people that are supportive. And as I said, in the BNI world, most people use Facebook in lieu of LinkedIn. So
Yep.
ultimately, you will start to get people probably in that BNI world coming and say, "Oh, can't you be my friend?" Or even groups. Do you guys have a group, a Facebook group?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
We do. I'm sure we do.
yeah, so typically that's how what happens. So, as I said, this often is the early sort of, it's a little bit of an early measure of how we're going to go. So it's worth doing this early, right?
Yep.
It just because of the fact that otherwise you kind of got you don't have a strong following, and so that means it takes us a bit more effort, right? Because we can invite people to like the page, me and Hayley, and we'll do that,
Yep.
but often they're going to be not as strong
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
connection as what your ones would
Yep.
be. So that's the personal connection and what you can do to get them to connect to your page on Facebook.
Yep.
So the other way of doing that, just while we're on this page, if you close that for a second,
Yep.
I'll show you how we got there. Or Hayley, if you wanted to go, so click back onto the home page where it's actually up where it says Allerton, home. Oh yeah, we're on it, right? So if you scroll up a little bit, and Hayley, do you want to talk this part, or do you want me to do it?
What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, I thought you probably don't know what I'm talking about. So the 3 dots. It doesn't matter whether it's your page or not. If you click on those 3 dots, you can go invite people to like this page, right? I think that. So you got to like it yourself, probably in the first place. That'd be a good step. Yeah, like. Then should be okay. Click on those 3 dots again. That's interesting.
Invite friends.
Oh, there it is. Invite friend down below. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. And so that's how you get to it. So that's what we do. It's a pretty powerful tool in terms of getting, particularly that sort of offline network.
Yeah, for sure.
Follow your page, right? Remembering that most offline network use Facebook in that particular way. So, all right. So then the next thing, and the one is actually our LinkedIn, and that the sort of most powerful of the social media from a personal and direct is actually your LinkedIn connection, right? So what we normally do is show how we typically use LinkedIn, right? So to actually get and grow relationships, right? So it's by extension of what you're doing offline with the likes of BNI. So if you go to LinkedIn now, you could probably drag that all the way across to the left of Facebook, and just put it in between the
between the website and Facebook.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, that's it. And so if we then go back to your personal profile.
Yep. Should I open a new tab for that one?
No, it's okay. In fact, you could just go search if you want. One of the things I thought what it might be, just because we know each other through BNI, just put BNI in there out of interest. Just do a search for BNI Australia. So it's worth probably following BNI Australia, and it's also worth following. So just click on follow for BNI Australia. It's also, you guys are also in BNI Melbourne Central, so just do BNI Melbourne Central as well. And that should bring up the likes of, say, Braith Bampkin and a few of these sort of more, well, he owns it, right? So I don't really understand the politics of how it all works. It's a bit pyramidy, to be honest. But if you click on follow, and then scroll down. So let's just go people. See underneath, it's got people. Home about, pay, jobs there, people. Scroll down, 9 employees are where they are. Okay. That's not what I was expecting. There he is. Yeah, so if you go on Braith, click on connect on Braith, it'll ask you to do a note, right? Add a note. And I just want you to copy and paste this note that just says, "Hi, Braith. Do you know Braith? Have you met him at all?"
Nah.
Okay. I note you're involved in BNI. Like myself, and thought it'd be good to connect on here on LinkedIn. Kind regards, Justin. And so you could copy and paste something like that. Not that one's necessary. So for a BNI type connection, that could be anybody, right? Sometimes you're going to know them. Sometimes it could be ones in your own chapter. Sometimes it could be you've been to other chapters, that sort of thing. But that could be a BNI type one. Remembering that just about all of the referrals I give, it's because of I do it by introduction on LinkedIn, right? So I'll introduce. Oh, here's Justin. You asked about a financial planner. Justin's our man, right? So if you just hit send on that, guaranteed, because you've said hi, Braith, he will connect with you. If they're active, they will connect with you, right? So, if you do it in this sort of, so Kiani Mills, another one's pretty active in Melbourne. She's a good person to know, but really the thing is, that there is that sort of bit of BNI family that goes on, right, and cross connect and all that sort of stuff. Yes, your seat might be slightly more hotly contested than some, but it doesn't mean that they all have a financial planner within their seat. It doesn't mean that they necessarily that the one they've got suits them as much as what you might, right? For instance, right? So BNI is one thing that I'd recommend that you kind of connect with BNI people, just because it just adds value to your membership. The other thing is the business is based in City of Melbourne, isn't it? Is that right?
Yep.
Where do you live?
St Kilda.
You're in Port Phillip. So
yep.
Just because I like to, so let's do City of Melbourne to start with, right? So if you go City of Melbourne in your search, and the reason I do this is basically there's economic development officers in councils that are charged with, trying to assist and support businesses in their area, right? So what we try and do is go looking for the, what is that top person, Justin? He's the CEO, right? So you see, you're a second connect. So I'm connect. So I would connect. Do a connect request to Justin, but I'll just again using that message we just copied. If you click on connect, you just go hi Justin. In this case, you're going to go just do paste or hi Justin. I run a financial planning business in the City of Melbourne. And would like to connect and stay in touch.
And would like to connect on LinkedIn.
This is on LinkedIn, so just go. So we'd like to connect and stay in touch. So essentially, this is like the old teletext. I don't even know what a teletext is actually, but I think that's what you used to put business cards in, right, or something along that. So realistically, once you've got this connection, it's easy to find who you're connected to. That's the other thing, and then you just go kind regards. Maybe make the City of Melbourne the capital C. And then do a kind regards, Justin, and this time copy it and paste it into Basecamp for us, and then that's something you can use as a little bit of a template. I reckon less than 30% of people personalize messages. And to be honest, if you're not telling me why there's relevance, whilst I often will connect with them, it's much more powerful as soon as you sort of say people's names, right? So there's a pretty good chance the CEO of the City of Melbourne will connect with you just because you've gone to the trouble of giving him a personal message like this, right? So just go send, and then just in the comment box in Basecamp again, paste that over there as well. We'll do a couple more, but I will just try and find the economic development people at the City of Melbourne, and then we'll do the same. We'll do the same at Port Phillip. So LinkedIn. So you can click on City of Melbourne there. If you click on City of Melbourne just below, and then you should be able to click on employees or people. Scroll down. Sally Cap's the mayor. She probably will connect as well. And then you could copy just exactly the same message, but you could say, "Hi, Mayor Sally." They love being being given their title. She's all over the news. She has been for ages now.
Yeah.
Trying to.
She's up for re-election, isn't she?
No, she's been re-elected.
Oh,
Yeah,
did she?
that just happened. And that's it. It's the same message. See if there's any comms people or
Is it Lord Mayor or Mayor?
that's fine.
Doesn't matter.
I reckon
Yeah.
even doing that, you're making her happy.
Cool.
Joe Gazzola, we know she's we've worked with Jo. She's got a HR, so if you do a connect with her, she was in BNI for a little bit. So see her on the right, Joe Gazzola. Yep.
Is it just Jo?
Yeah, it was just Jo. Yeah. Yeah. She's a good person to know. Yeah.
Cool.
And then just see if anybody, as you go down, has got anything to do with economic development or business. At least you got the two top-notch ones, CEO and the mayor. Often, if they don't have a logo, then there's a good chance they're not really using it.
Yeah.
Actually, that lady there, that Katrina, I'm pretty sure she's got something. What's she involved in? Katrina McKenzie.
Activation.
Although, city economy and activation. So yeah, she'd be another one. I actually just go more with this one because she's a third. So there's a good chance I'm not connected with her, right? So there's
Okay.
So you just go. It's not giving you the option to actually do a private message. So let's leave her.
Yeah.
It's rare. I'm surprised that you can't do that. All right, so let's move on from them. Let's do just the same thing at Port Phillip. Just do City of Port Phillip, and then I'm thinking, do you get any business as part of being a member? Given you're a member at the MCG, do you use that to take people on occasions? And
occasionally, not too regularly. Like it is actually pretty hard. Depends what games you're going to and stuff. But it's pretty hard to get multiple tickets for visitors.
Okay, yeah, sure. Just click on City of Port Phillip there for us. And again, just because you live there, I just go follow, give it a follow. It'll just mean it finishes up in your thing. And then just go to people again.
Okay.
Strategic planner, yeah. Communications, maybe. Maybe that's more relevant to us. But so the other thing is, if you're wanting to use this in a particular strategy, would be you want to connect with them first. All you're saying is, be good to connect. If there was particular people that you really wanted to take another step further, with these councils in particular, you could actually say to Lord Sally, or sorry, as you said, Lord Mayor Sally or the CEO, if he connects, you would just say, "Oh, thanks for your connection. given I run a business locally, can you point me in the right direction as to who I'd be best to speak to in the economic development team or something along those lines, right? So, so that way, if there's opportunities for you to sort of find out if they run breakfast or, if they use local people, that sort of stuff, there's the follow-up message. It's not a sales message. It's just a, can you help me? Can you help me with a bit of knowledge around, what might happen? So you can use that for any sort of strategic. You might go down. I mean, people use Sales Navigator and different things, but the reality is it's as simple as doing this, right? So you basically go in and you go, okay, is this the sort of person that I would want to be connect with? And you can search all sorts of, whether they're companies they might work with or councils, whatever it is. The first step is to get connected. The second step is to go, okay, can you help me out? I want to know within your company, what do you do around financial planning? Do you have anybody that actually, provides employee advice, that sort of stuff, right? So again, it's help me out here. That's all, right? It's not a, hey, did you know I have this particular, value-based financial planning and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? It's not sales whatsoever. It's basically it's just the next step, right? And then the next step after that might be if they sort of say, oh, yeah, you should contact blah, blah, blah. Well, then you just, you'd either connect with and then you might go through that step. Could we tee up a time to do something, have a coffee, have a chat, so I can share more about what I do, right? That sort of thing. That makes sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So that's how you kind of use it. And really, the other question people often ask is, I get all these randoms that want to connect with me, depending on whether they've got a photo. So that's the first thing. For me, criteria is photo, right? Are they using a photo? Second thing is, well, I like it if they personalize a message, but most don't. But the next thing is, are they in Melbourne, Australia? Am I likely to come into contact with them? Are they likely to have friends and family that might require my services, right? So that's a pretty good lens to put over it. So in other words, I rarely connect with, Philippines, virtual assistants, Indian marketers, branding, that sort of stuff, even if they're in BNI, because you do get quite a bit that come across along those lines, right? And sometimes, depending on who you've been, to your point before, you said people tagging. People do that on LinkedIn as well. So often, if I'm tagged in by someone who has massive following globally, they attract all these different types that I don't really want to be involved with, right? So, but generally speaking, if you can look at it and go, do these people need to know of me? Then realistically, they may not know too many people that do what you do. That's all.
Sure.
Hayley, I've monopolised that little bit, but that's just sort of how you use that. How you use that as best I think you can use that, right? So, but use it really as your network. It's like a CRM, realistically, right?
Yep.
So, Hayley, do you want to show how we then go and invite people to our company, and we get 100 of those every month?
Sure. So if you go into your company now, so I think if you go into, you can just search for Allerton Private Wealth. And you have 100 credits. So see down the bottom, it says invite connections to follow on the right side. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so you get 100. So if you scroll down and go invite more, kind of like Facebook did, invite more connections. But you have 100 credits each month that you can use to invite people to like a page. So, you can invite the people from BNI or, just generally people that work with you.
Yep.
And so you can invite 100 people to like it, which obviously helps us because how LinkedIn works particularly, they've got a really good algorithm. So if somebody likes the post on LinkedIn, it shares to a lot of their followers. So external people that don't like your page. I'm sure you would notice if you're ever on a LinkedIn news feed, but you see random pages that get liked by people that you follow.
Mm-hmm.
So
it just extends your reach out to people outside of those people you're choosing. Yep.
So you don't need to be too precious here, particularly given you've got a couple of hundred connections. As I said before, we can always invite a few in, but it's a lot more powerful if it's your network that already know you. So you've got pretty much in the first 3 months, you've got the opportunity really to invite everyone, your current network, but don't leave it because basically you only get 100. So it's a calendar month. So do it in December. In fact, you should just do a few now to see how easy it is. Click on half a dozen of them, the ones that have photos. You don't need to be precious. You're just telling them. It just actually reminds them about the business too, because this is a feature that's relatively new. This wasn't available 6 months ago. Nowadays, and so now they get it and they'll look at it and go, oh, I thought I was already connected to Justin. They don't know they're actually necessarily following your company as well. And so, as Hayley was pointing out, Hayley's going to be posting through the company. The best thing that you can do for us is just by simply in the news feed or even going to the page itself and like it as yourself, right? Because then what it'll do is it'll disseminate it to anybody that's in the news feed that says, "Oh, Justin likes this," right?
So once you've invited someone to like it, does it remove them so you don't spam them accidentally a second time?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, you can't invite someone twice. It actually it won't let you spam them twice. Not spam them and send it twice.
And should I just be choosing people like that I actually have had a relationship with before, or anyone?
Really.
Like it doesn't paint you in a bad. Like people don't think of your business any differently if they get a random kind of invitation to like your business. They just ignore it if they want to ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can always. Well, they don't just ignore it; they'll just cross on it if they don't want to follow it, right? So, in other words, if you've got a mate who's also running a financial business, he's probably not going to follow your business as well as his one. For instance, if you, I don't know, whatever, if it's a competitor that you happen to be connected to, I get it quite a bit where people ask me to what their page, and I'll be like, I'll follow that page.
Yeah. So how does it get sent? Does it get sent in someone's inbox, or is it just going to their
it's
feed?
a notification.
Yeah.
So it just says, do you want to like this page? And then you like tick or cross kind of thing.
Same as the friend request is exactly the same.
Cool. All right, I've done, I don't know, 44.
Yeah, nice. So if you just press that.
Start. So we're finding now organically, Dify Social gets better impressions on LinkedIn than we do even on Facebook because of this that by inviting people.
The algorithm works.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. So that's what you've done for now your personal LinkedIn. That's a bit of homework, just so you know. That's that LinkedIn doesn't stop. Every time you go to an event in future, if you get in a business, let's face it, no one uses business cards anymore, right? So so put it in get the business card, put it in a LinkedIn, and then connect.
You can also put it at the bottom of your emails. You can put all those links at the bottom of your emails, though.
Yeah, true as well. In terms of how people
and you might as well use those 100 credits every month.
Yeah,
it's you use them or lose them. They don't store up or build up. So you might as well just use the 100 each month.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Let's go. Excuse me. Let's go to Facebook next, Hayley.
Yeah.
Do you want to, or maybe we should go to Instagram and Twitter first, and then let's go to Facebook last, and then we'll stay on Facebook for a little bit. So go Twitter first, because Twitter and Instagram are easy in terms of how we follow stuff.
Yep.
So maybe put in actual fact, do Dify Social. What's the postcode for? Well, do Dify Social, but also do Melvin's, Hayley.
314.
Dify Social, one word usually, but it'll probably come up. Should come up. Yeah. So go to the brand at the top, and then I will show you how to find this Melvin one as well. So you can just follow that. So the idea of this is, so again, it's the same thing. You don't want to have to spend money to get people to follow you. So we do this so that they'll follow you back.
Yep.
Right. So this is getting their attention. So you can follow me, you can follow Melbourne. And then and what's the postcode for you, Hayley? Dify Social, all one word.
3144.
3144.
Yeah.
There it is.
There we go.
Yeah. If you follow that, and then go to see who Hayley's following. So click on following on the top. So it's got 57 following.
Yep.
Yeah. So, well, she's following a lot of Dify Social stuff, but you might want to follow Dan. You might want to place yourself in Melbourne, so follow the Herald Sun if you wish to. You've got Smart Company, which is a business-related one. Well, Hootsuite's probably more relevant for us than you, but you could go Smart Company, Little Melbourne. Time out. Just a few things that might help place you geographically.
I see, yep.
Yep. Because then what you might want to do is look at somebody like Alan Kohler, would you? Or even so see who he's following.
Yeah, okay. And then you go, I see. So you just follow. Yeah. You find people to follow, then you can dig into who they're following as well.
Exactly. So for you, probably you might do the big four banks potentially as well. So anything that's strategic. So in other words, media, geographic, and where you're likely to find your clients, right?
Yep.
So
Cool.
And also people that you work with,
yeah, that's the other thing. So anybody that you've already been working with. So probably then the next one would be, let's put in Alan Kohler, Alan Kohler. I like listening to Alan's little bite-sized read.
Yep.
And actually the lady that does it now too is quite good. And then there's ones like the Barefoot Investor is the other thing, right? So again, it's almost competitors, but at the same time, you may as well, if you can't
Using
beat
their
them,
network. Yeah, that's right.
if you can't beat them, join them, and then sort of, oh yeah, there's certain elements of what the Barefoot talks about that we would, agree with or talk about within, with our customers and clients, right?
Yeah.
I got interviewed by the Barefoot Investor one time when I was building my house. He was asking me at the time because it was the lowest Australians' interest rates had been.
Oh yeah.
Funnily enough, that was probably it was before the house I'm sitting in at the moment. So when it was just dirt, and he was saying, "What do you think about these rates?" and blah blah blah. The reality is, ever since then, they've just gone lower and lower anyway. So
Perfect.
Cool.
But yeah, that's how you follow on Twitter.
Yep.
And then,
I've made a note to go. I can go through and dig down. So how many, I guess what happens when you follow these people, does it get to a stage where if you follow too many, it's pointless because everything just gets lost, or there's no limit to how many you should follow?
2,000 is the. I think you can go to 2,000, and then once you get to 2,000, you have to have an equal or equivalent amount, right? So,
I see.
so what we normally say to people is, if you're going to be following a couple of hundred early doors, that's great. That's better than what most people are doing right straight away. Follow a couple of hundred, and then it's just one of those sort of things. If you're watching the footy, or if you're doing, because the other thing, most of these things are better to be done on the phone, right? So download on your phone the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn apps if you haven't done already. And then what the other good thing about the phone, once you've signed in once, you generally don't have to sign in ever again, right? So it's the same.
They all have their own. They all have their own apps. So it's not like we've linked them all together. There's one spot. It's still all different
It's just
across the
one app.
different apps.
Yeah, it's just sorry, it's one app for each
Per
application.
program
Yeah,
application. Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Yep.
So we jump. I think Hayley was going to lead us across to Instagram, which is very similar in the way that you actually then follow and just what you do. So again, start maybe with Dify Social and Melbourne, and then so you go into search up the top. Just maybe do one word. There she is. Is that you?
Do you ever get people that create like troll accounts or duplicate accounts and try and pretend to be people they're not, or that doesn't?
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Does it?
Well, it happens a lot. It happens a lot in politics. It's what they've been talking about a lot is these people create fictitious, and then they use this sort of skimming sort of arrangement in terms of how they affect polls and things along those lines.
Right.
But yeah, look, as far as it's a bit like when you hear of security breaches and risks and stuff along those lines. As far as how it affects small business, it's for us, it's probably not a major factor realistically.
Yeah,
so,
that's fair enough.
It's more about how you use it. In fact, people often use it as a barrier. Worried about realistically. I would suggest it's in Facebook and the social media channels' interest to make sure they do all the right things. So you've got, again, with Hayley, she's got 111. You've got a good following, Hayley, already. Geez, they must like you. That's amazing. That's amazing. So your follower is almost married. So go following rather than followers, because Hayley's probably done a bit of homework there to sort of have a look. And scroll to the bottom, because I'm assuming they're probably going to be better at the bottom than maybe they are at the top. I don't know. Could be wrong, but I'm surprised.
There's like a lot of local businesses, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, local Campbell or that sort of stuff, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this something that I should do I just block out half an hour in my calendar every week to go through my all the 4 social media channels or three or four social media channels and actively continue to find new people to follow and things like that? Or once it's up and running, and do you just kind of, and you've got 100 or something, you just let it roll from there?
Hayley's going to go first. You want me to go?
Oh,
Half an hour a week would be excessive for
Okay.
most people.
That's what I
For
would
me,
say.
as I said, literally, even when I do it, and I'll do it for clients at times too, I could be watching the footy or in between races or whatever it is, and I'll literally go on the phone and I'll think to do a little bit. But the reality is, if you do it early, if you just get those sort of 50 that you're following, you'll find on Facebook it'll tell you, slow down, Tiger. That's enough,
Yeah.
right? So you
Okay.
actually can't keep following too many, right? So so basically, get them in early. There's really some of the strategic, right? Particularly on Facebook, we don't go nuts. We just want to know who are the dozen or 2 dozen that are the most important ones for us.
Yep.
And beyond that, it becomes just more cake, really. So do the icing first, if that's the best way to put it. Maybe that's my analogy. Yeah. So but that's what we've got there. Maybe we'll leave that as homework, as you said.
Yeah. That's
Get
cool.
that.
Yeah.
Industry, in other words, anything around what's happening in the world of clearly RBA and that sort of stuff is going to be important for you. What's happening
Yep.
with interest rates, but so anything that you think there's a logical, strategic understanding, if it's going to sit in the feed, it's going to be interesting to me. And when we get to Facebook, it could be something that Hayley will look at and go, actually, this would be of interest to Justin's
I see.
followers. So
Yep.
we're going to share
Cool.
that. We do a bit of ambush social media marketing where we share something that's bigger than us. I mean, by way of example, the RBA comes out with the latest interest rate. Somebody talks about the news article or it's a video. We grab that, we share that. If you want to ask questions about the current interest rates, if that's relevant, then speak to Justin, sort of thing, and what that might
Cool.
impact you with your planning, that sort of stuff, right? So that's where we sort of do a little bit of engagement on a Wednesday. But let's jump
And
on to.
also, the first few weeks, I'll probably go through and follow some stuff as well that comes up as like suggested
Yep.
when I'm in the accounts anyway. So yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
So let's jump to Facebook, eh?
Yeah.
Cool. Facebook.
This has actually become a little bit easier again to follow, hasn't it? So see, it says news feed under home.
Yep.
You just click on that on the left-hand side. Yep. Next.
Next, and then done.
And see how it's giving you the ones now. So it's actually come up with plenty of good ones for you, I reckon. So just go down and maybe have a go at a few of those.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I don't know if Hayley's the same, but it's fair to say, because we go into a lot of our clients' feeds, this is how I get most of my news. So
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is actually topical in itself at the moment, because you know how the government's wanting to charge Facebook and Google for using traditional media sources in the news feed.
Yep.
Which is kind of going to be interesting. It's kind of like a mouse fighting with an elephant. It's anyway, more like a fly. But it'll be interesting to see what Google and Facebook do, because they kind of need them.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, so these are the pages that will probably, when I'm going through the newsfeed, will come up, and then I would share something from what they've been posting.
Yep.
So they're the bigger stuff. Now go to the news feed.
Yep.
In fact, do you want to just, Hayley, let's do a right click and let's open up another Facebook page. So if you right click on Allerton Wealth on the left-hand side and just go open a new tab, just that link underneath manage page.
Underneath manage page.
Yeah, up the top left, underneath
manage
page.
Yeah.
I think it is. You need to go up. You need to go up higher.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Scroll up.
I think I am right at the top.
Is that as high as it goes?
Yeah.
Maybe what you could do
you have to left click on home.
Yeah, true. Or right click on home. Right click on home, yeah. And then open in new tab. Open in new tab's better, I reckon. Oh, that's it, cool. The reason I wanted to do that, now if you click on that tab, and we're just going to use those 3 dots again, right? So click on that new tab up the top.
Yep.
And then we'll just do a search for what's the BNI, your BNI's name? It's BNI Business Builders. Yeah, BNI Business Builders. Can I get you to do that? So we'll get you to follow that. Have you been asked to do anything on this page yet, Hayley?
Yeah, me and Campbell spoke about it, but I'm not sure what's happening.
So is that the BNI Business Builders members only there, the groups? Is that you guys?
Yeah, it's the second one down. That's our public page.
Oh, yeah. So
That's
join
also,
that group, yeah.
That's also the group. Where's the page? Is there a page?
Yeah, there is, I swear. If you go to the left and click on pages, Justin, it's further down.
Yep.
Yeah, click on that. Yeah. Oh God, it's underneath there.
There it is. Yeah, Business Networking Melbourne. Just click on that.
Oh, this one or this one?
I just click on the link.
The one at the top, the one with more followers. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you give that one a like, there's likely that you're liking it as yourself, which is okay in this case. But what we want to do is like it as your page. So you may as well like this as yourself. If you're wanting to, if you're feeling happy about your Facebook, but maybe the first weekend job is, as you said, go back and check that you're happy with things there. But see the three dots next to magnifying glass. If you click on that one, and then it's got like as your page, and then drop down box.
Yep.
Yeah, and then go submit. And so this one, I'm assuming at times is going to be some of your. Well, BOQ Richmond is one of them, right? Related pages.
Yeah, Roche Partners is.
Yeah, that's right. That's Mark Roche's. Yep.
Yeah. So if you click on that website, so do you
as a like or click on the?
If you like it, you'd be liking it as yourself. Yeah. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I see.
So open that one up and then like it as your page. This will spin them all out because most of them wouldn't know how to do this, right? So it's a good thing to do because it shows you as a social business. So now you do those three dots again and you like as their page. And again, you can like some of these as yourself. There's no problems in doing that. But we also...
So like as your page is liking as the business's.
Correct.
Whereas liking the button is still my personal.
Yeah, that's right.
I see. Okay, I see.
And so when Hayley goes in on a Wednesday, she gets to see all the things in the news feed that the page has liked, right? So that means that she can engage with those things. It's basically getting their attention. It's showing that you're social. It's actually doing the engagement, right? So, and probably once a month, particularly when you're sharing it at your BNI or anything along those lines, Hayley can always do something along those lines too, you know? So, But yeah, that's the way we go and like other pages. So you find them. So you might, again, Facebook, it is slightly more difficult, but at least when you go to say like Business Builders, it then suggests what other pages you might like to follow, right? So cool. And then Hayley, as Hayley mentioned, particularly with Facebook, when she's going in on a Wednesday, she might go, shit, there's nothing much here for me. So she might pick up on a couple of extras and go and sort of find stuff that she thinks more, is also relevant. That'd be right, Hayley?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So that's the connecting side of things, right? So that's the stuff that just costs time. It doesn't cost money. Yeah. So it's worth doing because it's all about building relationships, right? Be them B2B or for you personally to person sort of thing. So let's we'll probably go to the Facebook on the left again, but this time we're going to go to Ads Manager. Do you want to direct this through, Hayley? Because there's a couple of times today you've gone a different way than I go, and I don't think it any necessarily better or worse. But do you want to have a go to the Facebook Ads Manager from here?
Sure. So what are we going to do? So we're going to go back to your other, so you can close this tab now.
Close this tab.
Yeah, and we'll go back to your other Facebook. Yep. And then on the left here, you should see Ads Manager.
Manage ads.
Manage ads, yep.
Yep. Manage shop, manage jobs.
Okay, let's just go at the top, and then if you just type in...
It's Ad Center, Hayley. It's Ad Center. Down underneath publishing tools. Have a look at that. I think that's the way you were trying to go.
No.
Yeah. Can I tell you my shortcut the way I'd go? Or do you want to keep going through links,
Yeah,
Hayley?
you
Sorry.
go.
I'm only
No.
thinking the way I always go to it with people when they sort of haven't had a page in the past is just get rid of everything after the / so it's got facebook.com and get rid of everything and just
Up here,
write,
yeah.
yeah, get rid of everything and just write ads / manager.
1D.
Ads, yeah. 1D and manager, there might be an A missing there. Just check the manager.
Yep.
I actually only asked that, Hayley, because you found a couple of little tweet things that are new buttons. Today you've gone through and I've gone, oh, I didn't know that was the way we could go through. But I also have things where I'm like, where the hell is that new thing? I'll just put the link up the top. So that's one of these times where I'm thinking I'll just go back to what I know.
Yeah. So you just have to press I accept here.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then done. So now we go to the 9 dots. So on the left side, you'll see like the little house, and then there's 9
Yep.
dots. Click on that. And then we're going to go to billing.
Yep.
Up in the middle, maybe.
It's the same.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And we're just going to add in a payment method for
Yeah,
the.
go payment settings on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
And it's worth copying this URL and just pasting it into your Basecamp so you kind of know how to find this. So maybe get the website up above. You could copy the whole lot because it should have the numbers for your account up there.
Where was that? Sorry.
Sorry,
Yeah.
just the web address up the top. Just copy the web address.
Yeah. Up here.
Yeah. And just paste it into Basecamp. We'll do settings, ad setting. We'll do campaigns. We'll do audiences, and we'll do pixel so that you've got all of those. We've got all those links for later. So.
Yep. Cool.
And then we'll go back to Facebook.
Which is now a little box. You can't see the F anymore.
Yeah.
It's a briefcase, Hayley.
I think it's back a few. The briefcase. It's before Instagram.
Oh, sorry. I'm on Instagram there.
You're
What am I doing there?
yeah.
Sorry.
So one back. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And this is where we add a payment method. So this is for your ads manager. So we suggest using the same card that you're doing.
Yep.
Easy debit through kind of thing, because then if we know something's wrong with that, we know something's wrong with the ads as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do I just hit next here?
Yep.
Australian dollar. Yep. Yeah. Hang on. Try to choose the right card number here. Cool.
Easy. And
Save that.
Yeah. Do you do this stuff, Steve?
Just do your ABN, I think, in there as well, if you've got that. If
Yeah.
you need to look it up. It's because we're all tied in with this European Union and different stuff now. So
Yeah, I've got it. Where's something else sent?
I just realised that me and Justin aren't actually connected on LinkedIn. I'm going to send you an add a note while you're doing whatever you're doing.
Sure. Sorry, I'm just trying to grab the ABN. The emails are freezing a little bit. Come on, what's happening here? Just grab it out of a business card. The emails have shut down. Just a sec.
Oh, good.
ABN's not on the business card. I'm gonna have to open up.
Yeah, I'm the same. When I've actually got it on my phone, I've got it on the cards.
Oh.
As you
It's
said,
on the bottom of my emails, but the Outlook just dropped out. I'll just have to reopen it. All right, finally.
Are you Allerton Private Wealth Proprietary Limited?
Yeah,
I think I have your ABN if you want it.
I think
Okay,
I've got
cool.
it there. Thank you.
All good.
The computer, so it's maybe been struggling with all the programs open. Maybe. There we go.
Yeah, you can probably close a few tabs now anyway if needed.
It's all good. Perfect.
Too easy. And then we're gonna invite us into Ads Manager. So, where's my? I think you need to go into the 9 dots again.
Yep.
And then, what is it, Steve?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Ads Manager.
Because often what will happen, I think it's in the go back to those settings on the left hand side. So no, so there's a little
If I
wheel.
go back home.
There's a little wheel above the notifications down on the left hand side. Because often it'll show in here what you've just done there, Hayley. So so just that little wheel that's above the notification. Click on that.
At settings.
Yeah, that one there. You click on that. Is that There we go. So there you go. Add people. on the right-hand side. So before we do add people, though,
Yeah.
just instead of having, you can talk this through. It's interesting. I wonder why I picked Perth, but it's not. 3 hours is nothing compared to, I don't want to close this account. So we just change your name. So we call it the business name Justin. So instead of having add account name Justin Allerton, just call it.
Oh, yeah.
And then you put that as the business as well down below. And it looks like it's going to make you write all the same details again, to be honest,
That's
that you
all right.
just went and
I think a
found. At
lot of
least
it
you
might
know where
be.
the ABN is now if it's not already sitting here.
Yeah, that's fine. So this just all matches.
Yeah, and this is stuff that you can use. This is stuff that you can use. For your bookkeeper and stuff like that, right? So,
Yep.
you will get it. Usually, they invoice at the end of every month. So your first one they won't send anything. They might send a test the first time we run it. So they might do a $30 sort of test. But yeah, other than that, it's at the end of each month, and it's actually the first week of the month.
Yep.
And I think that tax ID
So
number
you just
should
click
be
save changes on
ABN.
that.
Yes, see below. It's got it's just your ABN. Yeah.
Cool.
Save that. Yep. And if you add,
And then so we're going to add us to the ad manager. So if you just go to add people.
Yep.
And then Hayley J. Gaffney. And then we'll just have to change that ad account advertiser.
Yep.
So just do that drop down.
Admin.
And then, yeah, that's it. Perfect. And then same with Steve.
Yep.
Yeah, you're actually on the cusp of really having advertisers probably enough when people have the wherewithal to get around the screens. You're doing pretty well. Sometimes it's a lot easier for us if we just have the admin, and then if there's issues that we find with Facebook, we can just correct them. So that's why we sort of add ourselves in there. It's not just so you know, there's no advantage in us spending more. The idea is we hold your hand on that so that we only do spend the budget that we expect to spend. $5 a day, that sort of thing.
Yep.
So
Yep.
just so you're aware. Cool. I think next, Hayley, let's do.
We're going to go to those 9 dots again.
Yeah.
Yep. Up here on the left.
Yeah.
I think you're on a lag, Steve. And I think we'll go to Events Manager. Yep. So if you click into that, Events Manager down the bottom middle.
Yep.
Perfect. And we're just going to copy this URL into Basecamp.
You really are top of the class, Hayley.
So just paste it in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to Facebook.
Too easy. So we're just going to connect a data source in the middle of the page.
Oh, yep.
So this pixel just
and we want it for web.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then get started. And we'll go Facebook Pixel. Yep. Connect. You can just name it.
So you call it the
Allerton
business
Private
name.
Wealth Pixel or something like that. And then you can press continue on that.
Yeah. That's it. Continue.
Yeah.
I know. Just don't forget to add the website underneath.
I'll go back in. Do you want me to go back into that?
I go install code manually.
Yep.
But also, we just need to. Yeah. So what you can do is, so scroll down a little bit here, Hayley. Sorry, not Hayley. So you'll be able to see. No, scroll down a little bit. Does that go further?
Nah.
Go email instructions. It's good. That's where you'll get it. So if you go email instructions, if you copy that pixel ID number and just paste that in.
Yep.
And then Hayley, I'll get you to do the next bit.
Yeah. And we'll also probably paste that pixel code as well.
Yep. Cool. Back into Facebook.
Yeah, back into Facebook, and then
this whole code bit here. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole codey bit there. And then all we'll need to do is just say to Caleb to add this pixel in underneath the website,
Sure.
and basically that can help us track, how many people are visiting the pages or the website. So it's just to help us with some analytics on our end.
So if you've got Caleb, you could actually put his email up above. You could actually send it now if you want. The only thing is I just want to make sure we add the website because I have a feeling we didn't.
Yeah, no, we didn't. So do I see? What do I
Just
hit?
close that for a second. Just
Okay, yeah.
close it. And let's go
It was back in the.
continue pixel setup, maybe.
It's in the middle.
Yeah. Add pixel code to website. Install code. Actually, no, it's saying install.
Yeah, that's where we were last
Just
time.
close that again. Maybe it's in settings. If you go settings on the right of the data sources.
Here again.
Data sources will be it underneath the plus. If you go data source, click on that data source. Is that what we're already in?
Yeah, in here. Yeah, I can't click it.
So go to settings. It's on the right underneath. Not that setting. Sorry, underneath the pixel. That's all right.
Just have to check myself every time when I realise that we're recording, and I have my nose literally pressing against the screen at times so that you can read things.
Yeah.
Luckily, just so you know, this is kept in house. This isn't going public. This is just yeah.
So underneath that Allerton Private Wealth pixel, there's settings on the right.
Yep.
Is this where we can add it, Steve?
Yeah, scroll down. We'll turn advanced matching on.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we can.
Yeah, it won't let me.
Maybe not yet.
Yeah.
Scroll down. So yeah, hopefully we got it here. Traffic. It's not in there either. So go on go test events. Maybe just look at the other ones. Maybe let's click on test events up above, or I think we were already in overview. So
is that it? Into website URL?
Yeah. Although this is test event, but yeah, go open website. That would suggest that we've already got it on that website, which we haven't. But no, that's just taking it to the website. Okay, just close that. Your website, you don't need that open. Oh, this is funny. Well, yeah, so
you just want to create a new one?
You wouldn't create a new. So if you go create there, what's it to? I think up the top it goes create, but then it's talking about create an ad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, create ad, create custom audience, create audience name, create custom content. No, it's not what we want to create. Overview or tried to, we haven't looked at diagnostics, so what we could do is look at diagnostics as well. What's that properly connected? Active issues. What's this? What's that say in the middle? Oh no, something connected.
Would it be maybe in settings?
Yeah, we went to settings. That's where you'd expect to see it. Cookie settings. Third-party cookies on. Just go edit on that.
Would it be up here on this top line maybe? No,
that's your actual.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I'm sure it's just at the moment. If we send it to Justin, he's not actually. We could put we know the pixel code. I guess the reality is we already know the pixel code, and that's the pixel code that's going to be put behind your website. The fact that we haven't put the website in probably doesn't even matter. It's just going to measure against that website. So let's work out whether we have an issue. But first, so let's go back to where it said continue setup, and let's forward the email to Justin. Did you say? Not Justin. Cameron.
Caleb. Yep. Caleb. Yep.
Yeah. So let's continue pixel setup.
Yep.
and go email instructions. And by the way, we also do this when we sort of send him other things too. So we will send him the code. But see on the right hand side, it's got email instructions at the bottom right there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's grayed
Yep.
out. Yep.
And so what you could do, just up the top, just write his email or copy and paste it in there if you know it.
Yeah.
But we're going to put it into the write-up. When Hayley does the write-up, we'll have it in there, and then we'll also can send him that detail together with the links and just a request around the plugin. That's all. That makes sense, Hayley? Yeah? Oh, she's gone. But yeah.
So does it?
Probably.
Oh, yeah. I've got his email here. Perfect. Yeah, that's all good. So copy.
You can always send.
So do I get rid of all this kind of his name and stuff? And
Yeah, get rid of all that. And you can also, if you go put a comma or enter there, you can also send yourself and Hayley a copy if you want, just so you know that that's what the pixel code is. Yeah. Because he might get it and go, "What the hell's this? Whose is this?" Right?
Yeah,
Although
that's right.
the good thing is it's coming from you, so he
I've
should.
already sent him an email today too, so
Yeah.
hopefully he's I'll just paste Hayley's email in here too.
It's just saying, Hayley, just so you can see what it looks like as the email instruction. I don't know if you've had that come through before. It's not always that easy to work out who it is that it's come from, but
Cool.
yeah, at least we know if we do that and it comes today, you know that it's for this project. So that's it, and you just go send.
Send.
Yeah.
Just make sure I had Caleb. Yep, Caleb, myself, and Hayley.
Yeah. Done.
Cool.
Nice. Okay. So we'll go back to the 9 dots.
Yep.
Yep. So click on them, and we're going to go to audiences.
Yep.
So down the bottom middle. And we're going to go create a custom audience.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think has it all loaded up for you?
I've got the custom audience. Yeah, it says sources, Facebook sources, about custom audiences.
Yeah, mine's not loading on my side. Steve, can you see that?
Yeah, so basically it's not custom audience. We want to do a saved audience. Just close this window.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, create a saved audience.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. So we're going to just name this audience.
Sure.
Let's go for Allerton Private Wealth, audience 1 or something like that.
Yep.
Cool. So
Cool.
we're just going to make, so what's your average age of your clients?
Probably maybe 25 to 65 plus.
Yep. So we'll just make that lower audience than 25.
Yep.
And then we'll search locations. Do you just service in Melbourne, or do you
Pretty much? Yeah. Yep. Oh, look. Yeah, pretty much most around Melbourne.
Okay, so
Greater Melbourne, probably.
Maybe do Collins Street to start with. Are you on Collins Street? Did you say?
My office is on Collins Street.
Yeah, do Collins Street in the locations. Just say search location Collins Street. So it's just above the age. It's got search locations.
Oh, yep.
And just do Collins Street, Melbourne. Can you see it somewhere there?
It's more got like places. It's got like it's looking for like landmarks. It looks like.
Maybe if you put your street address in front of Collins Street, even.
Yeah. I'll just put that there.
Yep.
And then we can set that radius.
So what are you thinking? Maybe because you're in the wham back in the middle of the city, that makes it a massive audience. Just so you know. So I would tend to think you might want to bring it into, say, maybe 5 mile rather than 10 mile. So 5 is about 8K, I think, isn't it? So if you see up the top where it's got 10, it's got your address. If
Yep.
you go on that little arrow, you should be able to bring it to 5.
Oh, maybe I need to save that somehow.
Just go 5 and enter is usually it's one way you could do it.
Yep.
The other thing you could do, because you meet it in Camberwell, you're going to finish up being offline and meeting there, right?
Yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I at least once a month. I think they were saying.
Yeah.
They think. Yeah.
So just because of that network that you've got there, you might want to put in a street address in Camberwell as well, and just again put maybe a 2 mile radius around it, for instance, right? So you kind of get that sort of, because they're another sort of good audience for you, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So what is the name? Is it a pub or a hotel or a
I
restaurant?
wouldn't even know. They're actually looking at changing it. I think. I haven't been because it's only been
I'm the
online while I've
same.
been there.
If
Yeah.
I want. Maybe what you could do is just write. What's the main road? They're all meet in the middle of Camberwell there. Burke Street, Camberwell, for
Yeah,
instance.
Burke Road, Camberwell. Yeah.
Burke Road.
Where would I put that? Do I add a
It's just
second
the
one?
same thing. Yeah. Again, search.
Locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, just be Melbourne. Yep. And then just bring it in so that the audience it's right down, maybe to 2 or 3. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Glen Iris, they're pretty well heeled around there.
Yep.
And it looks like you've already got your Port Phillip in there, St Kilda as well and truly in there. That's a good patch. There's plenty of people in there you'd probably want to be about. So I think.
And then we're just going to scroll down to these just detailed targeting. So you just want to put in some things about the people that you work with.
What about recently married? Recently married? Because that'd be a sort of, typically now that's into your late 20s, 30s maybe, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Recently married rather than recently engaged.
Or retiring.
Or sometimes it might even say just married, I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe just go with married.
Maybe just go married.
And then do you go retired?
Yeah.
You could do own home.
Are you limited to how many of these?
No. But in actual fact, the next thing is it's going to get a bit of an understanding of what you're looking for. If you click on suggested, it's going to give you, it's going to give you some, so you can't go too far, Rob. But see how on the right-hand side it tells you how big the audience is. That's a global audience.
Oh, I see.
So when it's 1 billion, you probably need to be wary. But at the same time, when it's 1,000, it's also pretty small, right? So it's probably not worth even doing. So click on suggestions, right? See what it thinks now. See, it's got suggestions there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Click on those ones. So newly retired or
baby boomer.
Yeah, baby boom is good. Yeah, I like it, Hayley. That's good.
But then you can also add in things like financial planning, tax planning.
Is your dad a baby boomer, Hayley, or is he younger than that? Yeah, he's not a boomer.
He would die if he said that, Steve.
No, I'm the same. Yeah, no, I hear you. I was just asking, I wasn't sure.
He's just, I think, in.
Are things like financial plan and wealth management too narrow?
No, you put them in.
Yeah, okay.
Put them in because they're the specific things they might be looking for, right? So yeah, financial planner, insurance, superannuation. The only thing is, it's going to be it'll probably make the audience, because of where you're located, it's going to make it a pretty massive audience. That's the only thing, right? And so what we want to try and do is make the haystack. I like to have a haystack when it's a city-based one, sort of no more than 250,000 people, right?
So can you see how big it is at the moment, or?
If you scroll up now to the top, you'll see a little so exit that blue box.
What's it say up the top?
So potential reach 3,000 people, 300,000 people.
Yeah, so that's good. I'm happy with that. Like, as in,
Yeah.
I'm glad that. So it doesn't look. So now you just be careful what you're adding. But that's. I'm happy that it's not huge. I thought it was going to be more like the sort of million sort of mark. So
What is this? Relationship status, married?
yeah, you
Does it have
can.
that in there?
No, yeah, it's in a demographic.
Oh, I see. So you would add
Rather
another one in. You would add single as well in there, maybe.
Well, with singles, that's kind of. But we don't really want it. The singles, you'd kind of. What you want, you want affluent single.
Nothing
If you
wrong
want,
with being single.
yeah, no. But you're not inside. You're not in the target audience, Hayley. I'm entrenched in it, I think. But you're what would you say? You're an aspirant into the target audience.
Oh, geez.
It's a bit like joining BNI. You said you aren't in it, but your dad is. It's like your network. Yeah. The But I think what you were saying, Hayley, but that's it is that sort of but I just keep clicking suggestions and seeing what else. But put super. Did you put super in there already? Superannuation.
Retirement planning was in there. I don't think super came as an option,
But
but
maybe you could type that in and see what
yeah,
happens.
yeah, for sure.
What is that saying?
Super in Australia,
Yeah.
superannuation in
Okay,
Australia,
cool.
and then I might just put in personal insurance too, maybe.
Yep.
And what about wealth? Putting in private wealth. See what just for your own.
Yeah.
Oh, you had it.
Insurance. I think private wealth was in there. Wealth management was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, wealth management's in there.
Do you talk about risk insurance and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, that's insurance. Yeah.
Oh, it's insurance probably. Yeah, but it's already be covered. Yeah.
Nice. Let's
How
have a
big's
look at
our audience now? How are we looking?
All right, let's have a look. 350.
I reckon
Nice.
for now, I don't
Yeah.
reckon. I reckon let's just save that as your create saved audience.
Yep.
I'm happy with that for now because, as I said, it's just probably only going to get bigger. And what you can do to help us is if you go, if you click on that again and just click on it and it'll show the audience, and I'll just get you to save it. Copy and paste it into Basecamp for us. So if you click on that, and then it might, see on the right hand side, you can copy from the bottom to the top and just get the whole lot in there. Sort of says how big it is and everything, and just paste that in. And so what Hayley and I'll look at, as one of your early posts next week is basically something that would be easily promoted, right? Is that we'll create something that we could post. So we always like to post it so you know where you're finding your ads. It's not just something we create in Ads Manager that floats in the ether and we can't find it. So we create the post. It's often one that will pin to the top of the page. And then I think we'd split it. I think we talk about maybe splitting it, if we're going to do $5 a day, we'd sort of do $2.50 just sheer awareness, right, to that audience, so they get familiarity with your logo and your name, and then $2.50 towards either engagement or web click, right? So often early doors, we probably just do engagement, right? So we want people to like it, comment on it, maybe, so that we can invite them into the page as well, so we can keep growing the page as well. But the good thing is, whenever we do either of those posts now, we'll have a sort of call to action button that will also mean they can go to the website to find out more, right? So as well as in the post that Hayley writes, it'll basically say, to learn more, contact Justin and the team, and it'll still be in the post, but the call to action button just makes it more likely they'll just push on it, right? So, and then with that pixel set up, then we'll start measuring what's happening through the website and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I think for now, let's move on. I'm just mindful that at 3 o'clock, I have actually got somebody else jumping on this, so I don't want them to bust up our party.
Perfect.
So let's jump on to
we're
doing beautifully in terms of how we've worked through this today. Hayley, is there anything else you wanted to touch in Ads Manager? Do you think that we need to do? I don't think so.
No, I think we're done.
I think we're right. I think, as I said, if as our we'll make sure, as it said, because we want to make sure that Callum probably does a few things anyway before we go and do the first promoted post. We'll just make sure that one of the posts next week is good enough to be a promoted post, right? That would be the plan, and we'll use a photo which is probably one of the cover type, or either the cover from the homepage or the cover from the services page, right? So we can see consistency. So that's awesome. So, geez, you have an easy day,
Cool.
Hayley.
Do I go home here or just leave it as it is?
Just because you got such a good customer here, I'm going to get you back to base camp and we'll just tick off where we're at, right? Just so you know. So if you go back to base camp and uh, and I'll get you to scroll up to the top of the page because there is a couple of other things I'm going to get you to write down the bottom here, just because we want to get you to sort of sign off on what we might post and how we're going to post. But scroll all the way back up to the top. We know, just so I can explain what we're going to do after today's meeting. So as in all the way to our checklist. Yep. So pretty much over the weekend, Hayley's going to spend hours. Oh no, she's not. I reckon she'll be done by this afternoon potentially. We're going to basically before Monday morning, you're going to get 2 posts that come to you, right? They're going to be a write-up post of all the setup, which tells you all the links and any passwords associated with it. So you'll get that post first, and that's just one that you can always refer back to. How do we get into there? What access we got? All that sort of stuff. And it's often got the stuff that we need to share to Callum, right? So that's the main thing with that post, right? Then the next thing down, if you scroll down further and we get to the planning part of the session. So I'll just talk through what we've done in the planning, and you're going to get a second. You're going to get a second message that then comes through and says, "Look, this was what we talked about." When we were in that sort of relationship, we're going to get you to do a bit of homework. You're going to connect with some people. You're going to do some business to business connection, and Hayley's going to do a little bit of it as well. So if you just scroll a little bit further down as well. Oh, Hayley's popped off in again there. So I don't know if we touched on this, right? But Hayley would have said this when we were doing it, but the reason we're doing all of this stuff is we want to protect your business brand across these 6 new social sites. And because you've got this awesome new website, there's real consistency around them, right? We want to make sure we are all competitive beasts. Hayley's really competitive. She's super competitive. But yeah, we want to differentiate you from your competitors because we want you to be top of mind and we want you to be better than them, right? Particularly on the channels that we're managing. Ultimately, as we said at the start, we want the people that already know of you to keep coming back to you or telling more friends. And we want those people that don't know of you because of the ad to start to know of you and start to work out why they might want to work with you, right? I'm sure that Hayley may have said this, but we hate the term social selling. The selling doesn't happen with Hayley and me, right? The opportunity might happen by way of us. We want to try and give you the opportunity because they're going to give you a call, email, they're going to go to the website. That's right. Go, shit, this guy's somebody I need to talk to, right? And we don't care how they do it. If they see one of Hayley's posts and for people my age particularly, and that just tells them to pick up the phone, that's what they'll do. That's fine. If that's the easiest way for them, then that's the easiest way, right? So, but ultimately, we want them to make some sort of action as a result of the post that they're seeing. So, but you're the one that really, I could tell, straight away, you're the one that ultimately will go through your normal procedures just to sort of explain this is what we do. And ultimately you'll do the handshake at the end, right? So that's what will happen. So we've gone in and we've used Facebook ads around that sort of where are they located? How old are they? We know it's probably male, female. So we're not sort of splitting hairs there around one more than the other. If you scroll down a little bit, what we do, your main calls to action on the website are really around contact us, right? So mainly we'll kind of have a similar, unless you tell me differently, I don't think you're not sort of that. Do you have anything that you ever sort of approach them with? You say if you want to get a life audit or anything along those lines, or is that something you're thinking about?
No, not really. I mean, I do have I did some work at my last place where we kind of did referral partners and who the kind of best clients are, and kind of it's just some background about those clients and their demographics and those types of things.
So at the moment on your website,
I've done some work in that space, but not
you're pretty softly on the website, right? Because really, your two call to
yeah
action
yeah
buttons are basically saying who you work with, right? And it's saying what your services are, and then your
yeah
contact is sitting there. As you sort of go on, if you sort of find that there's something else that you want them to do, just what's that first step for us? Tradies, for example, right? It's get a quote. For us, we do an audit. You know, if at times you start thinking, well, actually, in fact, this might be the best sort of step through, rather than only doing contact is a perfectly reasonable step through. That's fine. But if you find as you go along that you're tweaking anything
yeah
on the website and you want us to change call to action a little bit, just let us know, right? But the key thing at the
yeah.
moment is that you wanted to be contacted, basically. So that's okay, and that's what we'll make sure that we work to do.
Yeah, so I guess the first step typically is booking it's called a discovery meeting. So the quote is really the same as booking a discovery meeting, where it's a no obligation meeting, where we sit down with clients, find out more about them, what their goals and objectives are, and how we can help them. That's really kind of the first
Well,
step with any new client, and there's no
that's
cost,
what
there's no
you've got.
obligation.
If that's what you got, Justin, go to your website and maybe something to talk to
Yep,
Callum about. If you click to your website, just so we've got that in front, so I can just explain what I'm thinking. See how
yep,
if you run your cursor over who we work with, that clicks on clearly who down in the middle where you've got these. They're the buttons, right? They're the juicy buttons. That one
yep,
clearly that takes it to that tab,
yep,
and you've got our
yep,
services, right? If you were to speak to Callum about a
yep,
book a discovery session as a similar looking buttons in there, it could just
yep.
be that it takes it to the contact us page. That's fine, but it's a button
That's a
and it's
good
telling
idea.
them what they're going to do,
Yeah,
right? So book a discovery session
yeah.
does sound good, right? I would, I think that would be attractive,
We've
and
got
so
it
that's
kind
what
of
I'm
here, but
talking about. And Hayley, even in terms of just because it's not there at the moment doesn't mean we can't use it. So we basically, I would say that what we'll write, and in fact, you can write it for us now so we don't forget, Justin, in Basecamp, a call to action might be
yep.
inquire and book a discovery session, right? So that is a sort of call to action that it sounds like you'd like to use. So, so down the bottom, just underneath, just say book a discovery session. Yeah. And so every second post we do, Hayley, we might, use that as a bit, or we might even use it every time. It's up to you. It's probably something we could use every time because it's kind of your quoting mechanism. It's your first step. Your first step is to
Yeah.
book a discovery session, right? Other
Yep.
than
Yeah,
other than
that's right.
other than
Yep.
B and I types where you probably do a 1-to-1, right? So, but yeah, a discovery session, and that's good language.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, I like it. And so yeah, back to the top of this
Brilliant.
part. So the only other
Yep.
thing is actually, in
Sorry,
fact, you can go to the
so
website again because the only thing that we haven't sort of got to. So I think it's pretty clear from the website. It governs everything that we're going to look at. So I'm
yep.
confident with Hayley on this around topping and tailing posts and emojis. We're good at that. But and then the call to action around contact us. But it's just what we might do each week. And I'm thinking that you probably have Hayley, I reckon what we might do to start with, at least in the first month, is we just do 3 scheduled posts a week where you go our services on a Monday, yeah,
Mhm.
who
Yeah.
we work with on a Wednesday,
Yeah.
and about us on a Friday. And you just pick up on those 3 and you use just bite-sized pieces under those areas. And do you have any testimonials anywhere, Justin, or reviews, or not at this stage?
I haven't got any. I haven't got them as yet. Yeah, just not at this stage.
Yeah. So once we get down the track and into 2021, we use a thing called Gather Up. I'll probably send it to you in about a month's time, right? After we've worked with people for a month, we use a thing called Gather Up. We charge
Yep.
our clients $20 more than it costs us, right? It costs me about $60 a month. And it's a really good tool, depending
Yep.
on how many people. I mean, some people clearly you can actually use it to get 1,000 people's feedback each month. So if you're I don't know what does it. Some people do 1,000. Like we don't do that many. Clearly, we'd be lucky to do a dozen, right? But the reality is it's a great way of getting feedback. Basically, how have we gone? So that's the first thing. How likely would you be to, have you heard of the visiting to refer us to others? I can't remember what the term is, but how likely would you be to refer us to others in your network? That's the first question they get asked.
Yeah.
So often
Yep.
it's a sort of scale of, I think, 1 to 10 if they, and then generally it doesn't really matter what they come back, because they usually come back really honest as well in any other comments. But then it goes, great, thanks. Reviews are really important to our business. Can you leave a review on our Facebook page or on our Google site, right? So that might be something you might want to consider in the new year, right, just for yourself. But the only reason I was asking is because when we do about us, it's often better to be saying what other people are saying about you than saying it about you yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
It's better to go and say,
yeah, of course.
Justin
Yeah, a
was
bit more
awesome.
believable.
So much good stuff, So we'll work towards that,
Yeah.
and we'll get there with that side of things, I'm sure.
Well, just recap. So Monday we're going to talk about the services.
Yeah, so we'll get Justin to type it in. So if Justin goes back to Basecamp, and you could just type it in bold caps for us.
So are we not sharing on a Wednesday?
So on Wednesday, what I was going to say to you, why don't you just go in and engage with some stuff for now? Just like a few things, that's all. And just check to see if we're following some things. But for now, I don't reckon share anybody else's across. Just get their attention a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I think just early doors, that's better, because we're doing 3 posts a week. It's better to be 3 posts about the business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Monday would be services, Justin. Oh, got to answer the door or go.
Yeah, I'm happy to leave it to whatever you guys.
Yeah,
happy to leave it for however you guys want to manage the process, and whatever you think the gradual way to dip your toe in before Christmas or whatever it is that we go with.
I think just if you type in there, if you just give it, and then you could basically hit add comment on this, right?
Yep.
So do Monday equals services. Wednesdays equals who we work with. And you can put in brackets plus some engagement, as in just Hayley would just do some liking of some other people. And on Friday, it will be about us. And that includes you, Justin. So what we try not to do there is, you're clearly a modest guy, right? But as you go along, if you're getting some photos of you with clients and meetings and things along those lines, it's good at times, at least once a month, to hero you a little bit, right? Hero you with your clients and that sort of thing. So if you've got some client meetings and that sort of stuff, don't be afraid to sort of either. We do like to have it. I mean, it's something you could consider is having a gallery on this website, maybe. But if not, just put it in the Dropbox and let Hayley know this was a meeting that I had with such and such. Again, from a confidentiality. But the reason
quite often we do professional development, like meetings and briefings, at least kind of once a week. So that I could take a picture at like the Vanguard Investment Symposium or something like that, as well as kind of client meetings, if that's the type of stuff that you want to share to show what you're doing and things like that.
Definitely. I think, the one thing, whilst the web is great, you could ask Callum about having what you could call it almost like a blog, but realistically it would just be something that you could either use a picture, you could explain what the picture is. So it could either be gallery, or it could actually be you just doing a sentence or two about something, for instance. Sometimes people choose to comment on the current state of affairs or whatever. So just because you have a blog tab doesn't mean you have to be doing something on it every day, but it just might be an easy way of adding a gallery, right? And gallery is great for us. And the reason I say add a picture of you and people that you're involved is because they're often 5 times more popular than others. As soon as we put our clients on their pages, people love you probably, right? So then they get a lot more engagement. Yeah. So that's that. I think the only other thing that's further down, if there's anything seasonal that happens, just let us know. As you know, Hayley, you guys see each other every week anyway. So if there's any questions or concerns at any stage, you'd just sort of, you'd raise that up. Usually we expect in the first week, 2 weeks, first month, you're going to be sort of, you're going to have a few questions. And as I said, when you're catching up, you'll be able to talk it through. the first report on this is due the first week in February. So I would certainly suggest
Cool.
we should be running some sort of campaign so we kind of know what it looks like before then, right? So we want to get a bit of an understanding of what sort of numbers we're going to get when we start promoting you for awareness and engagement. Yeah. So, yeah.
All
So
right.
that's about it, I reckon. You can hit add comment on that now that you've done all the heavy lifting
Cool.
again in the second session.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, that's all good.
Which is fantastic.
It's been really good, honestly. It's really insightful, and yeah, it's been fantastic.
Yeah, you can come back to the whereby if you want. I don't think we need you to share screen anymore.
Cool.
You can probably close all those tabs too.
So it's this one, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that's all right. I don't think I've had that many tabs open in my
Yeah,
life. I'm usually quite diligent with like closing one after the other.
Before you close them all, just before, do bookmark them if you do want to keep them. Just make sure you bookmark them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so you know where they are. We're going to send you the link, so even
I've
after,
still got them all there. Yeah, so I'll bookmark the LinkedIn. Yeah.
just put it under social media or something along that. We'd like it if you put it under Dify Social Media. That'll remind you of Hayley and us.
I've got a Diffy folder now, so there you go.
Ooh, Diffy folder.
I could probably get
I'll invite you along to the Dropbox as well. So if you do ever have any photos you want to share, you can just put them in that Dropbox and I can put them through to social media.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, cool. Hey, I've got a Diffy Social mask if you want one too.
Of course you do, Stitch. Are you still trying to palm those off?
Well, actually, I think
I've got the mask for new advertising for everyone.
I've only got small ones left. I think I did something with a
I have standard.
Oh, standard. There you go.
There you go. Well, Justin,
you gave me 5 when we caught up.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I gave it for you to give to Justin.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that was so good. I am, and Hayley knows this. This is not just because we're talking to you right here, Justin. That was in my very higher echelons of favourites of setups. That was brilliant, and I think it was because of both of you. To be honest, Hayley and
that was
yourself,
good. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it was good. We've had worse, a lot worse.
It must be easy to start with a clean sheet, like you're saying, and just be able to run through from start to finish with a newly built website. Makes everything a lot easier. But like I said, I had no idea about any of that stuff, so it's been sensational.
Awesome.
Great stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, I will let you guys enjoy your weekend. I reckon and you can probably enjoy it 5 minutes earlier. Although I think that's probably bang on, based given that we took probably only 25 minutes for lunch. I reckon we've done it perfectly.
Too easy.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
All right. Have a great weekend, guys. Really appreciate your time.
See you later, Justin.
Good on you. Cheers.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.